There's something really interesting that happens when I talk to people about their dreams. There's the combination of excitement and imagining, expanding possibility. But really quickly, almost immediately in the next sentence, people start to limit themselves. They start to talk about the difficulty, the constraints, the practicality, the rationality. This doesn't make sense. Oh, I'd have to do it this way because of X, Y, and Z. And dreams are an interesting thing. They have a lot of power if we believe in their possibility. But they also can be very scary because they trigger within us the recognition that it's going to be difficult. If something is a dream, it's usually going to be something big and daunting. And of course, with that comes a challenge, difficulty, unknowns, unpredictability. And our brain doesn't like that. Our brain doesn't like just sitting in the unknown. We like certainty because there's safety in that. The unknown can feel insecure. And our brain still operates in a very simple way of survival. And if it feels a threat, even if it's mental and imagined, it will start to address the threat, which gets our brain thinking about, okay, how are we going to solve this? What if we don't do that? Maybe we do a smaller version of it. But the point of dreaming is to go big, not just for the sake of it, but because it allows us to imagine what we may be capable of. And if we only did what we were capable of today, we would never move. We would never evolve. We would stay exactly the same. Everything that pushes us to grow requires us to step outside the realm of the current reality, of what we currently know. Requires stepping into the realm of possibility, which requires us to level up to meet that realm. And the point of the dreaming time is to give ourselves the space to not worry about reality, to not be constrained by reality and all the ways in which something could go wrong and all the ways that our dreams may not work out. It's to show us what the ideal could look like so we have something to aspire to push towards, to build. And so often we start to say no to ourselves in the dream phase before anyone else or the reality has actually said no to us. We start to downsize our dreams. We limit them. We start to say things like, oh, in my dream state, if I really didn't have to worry about anything, I would be an artist and I would paint all day. And I would be in this massive studio where I can just throw colors at a canvas and see what happens. And I can have loud music blaring. But, I live in New York City and studios are expensive. And so maybe it's not a massive studio. Maybe it's a smaller studio. Or maybe I can get a shared space. And maybe I can find someone who also wants to paint. And then we can kind of split time. And then, I'd have to find a job because I can't just be a working artist. I have to build, even if I am one day, I have to build the portfolio. So, then I can maybe maybe the best is that I can paint 1 day a week or 3 days a week or something like that. This is not a literal example someone has told me, but it's something actually I've thought about because I want to paint more. And I find myself imagining the big and then really quickly being okay, I could do it this way, do it this way. That's valuable when I start to execute because I probably can't go to that big solo studio and just start throwing paint at walls or canvases right away at any time I want. But I will have to think about the steps to take. But our brain jumps to execution when we are still in the dream state. But when we jump to execution, we're bound by the realm of reality and our current constraints. And if we start to build only around that, we actually stop the dream before we've really understood it. We might only understand a partial piece of the dream. And so when we are trying to imagine our ideals and push for something big, whether you're trying to start something new, a new career, or whether you're trying to start a new hobby, or whether you're trying to build a business, or whether you're trying to consider the next phase of life and what you want that to entail, or whether you're in a big transition period and you're just like, holy shit, everything is up for, consideration in terms of changing. The best thing we can do for ourselves, the best gift we can give ourselves at that phase is to not let not only reality, but our sense of survival and insecurity constrain us. Because if we do, we'll never fully understand what the full expression of our dreams really look like. We'll never be able to expand possibility to the ends to which we could have if we just let our imagination run. And I know why we do it. I get it. I do it too. Because it can be daunting to imagine such beautiful big things and feel like you can't ever realize them. That you'll fail before you start. That you're not able. You don't have the skills. You don't have the resources. You don't have whatever. But if we can't imagine it, we can't build it. We can't make it. And so unless you're okay only building a smaller version of the possibility you could dream and imagine, then I really encourage you to check yourself when you hear that what if voice coming in, that voice telling you, hold up, let's do it this way, let's make it smaller, let's make it more practical and rational. I really encourage you to kind of recognize that voice and check it at the door and be like, okay, you can come in later, but you're not welcome right now. Right now, I need to be a dreamer. I need to let my imagination run wild. I need to be an expander of possibility. Because otherwise, it's a disservice to ourselves and our dreams and our imagination. They exist to help us build the life that we want, the purpose we're here to live, the dreams that we want to realize, the meaning we want to create in our lives. And if we don't give it the full space, the complete blank canvas, then we're saying no to ourselves before we've even begun.